Morning, everybody. So I've done this quite a few times, so hopefully it's not too boring for those that sat through it before. I'll try and add a few variations. So Xpediator is a holding company for a freight management in an international logistics business. That's your board, that's your main team. So we have two non-execs, and I'm the CEO. Started the business 30 years ago this month. There was one employee, which was me. I had one customer. But 30 years on, we've got 700 whatever people working in the business and 10, 15,000 customers. So we've done quite well in the last 30 years. The operational board, Sean, who's at the back there watching, is the group COO freight forwarding. And Sean's been with me since 1991. Denor is the group CEO logistics. Dana is the COO for Affinity. And we have Michael Grange has joined us as CIO. Michael is ex-Tesco's. And as we go through the presentation, you will see why we have recruited him. So the business profile is three main divisions, which is our freight forwarding, which is an asset-light business, which moves freight internationally by road, but we're also now developing into air and sea. And it's asset-light, freight forwarding. We have a slide on that, which I can go through into more detail. We then have our transport services division, which is Affinity, which I have a slide on that, which has 1,700 trucking customers running 12,500 trucks. And then lastly, we have our logistics and our Pallets division. We have the franchise for Pallets in Romania. And so we have that as a circle because they're all interconnected. We listed at 24p, we're now about 61. So whilst the ship has sailed, we're still in the harbour if you want to hop on. So, as I said, we established the business in 88, 700 plus employees. We're very focused into the East European areas. That's where we have a slide where you'll see they're the growth areas in Europe. That's our trading update. Brokers, lawyers, and everybody said to me, for God's sake, Stephen, don't go off-piste and talk about figures. So any questions on figures, I'm going to blank you. We did do an RS announcement. Our turnover was up, partly with acquisition, but a lot of organic growth in there as well. So we went and did the IPO. We raised 7.8 million. We spent it very wisely, we think. And so there should be more growth. Operating highlights in the year. The Pallets performance in Romania has been fantastic. And there's, I think we've got a slide on that one, but if we haven't, I'll talk about it now. And that's a business we started in 2012. It's a franchise from Pallets in the UK. Pallets in the UK is owned by Hilary Devey. We've got the franchise for 25 years, but it just rolls on. We started that 2012. We started in Romania because there were no pallet networks in the country. So first year we budgeted to lose 400, we lost 380. We moved 46,000 pallets in the first year. Last month we moved 50,000 pallets in the month. So we have the ability to deliver small consignments around the country within 24 hours. Average consignment size is 1.46 pallets. Once you've established the ability to move smaller shipments within 24 hours, you can then go heavily back into logistics. We were running a big logistics operation back in the 2000s, and we had a joint venture with a company called Tibbett & Britton. That was Tibbett & Britton Delamode, which became XL Delamode, which became DHL Delamode. And eventually we sold our share as DHL did in 2010 to John Harvey. He sold out his logistics at the end of last year to Hewson. His timing was impeccable because we're now going heavily back into logistics. So he would have been a competitor. So we're looking for good things on that division going forward. Next, freight forwarding. This is where we started the business, asset light, moving originally textiles out of Holland into the UK. So the first customer, Van Overdyke, he was shipping a lot to Next. So heady days in the 88. So this time, 30 years ago, I would have been in shorts on the balcony, sipping beer, organising a few trailers. But then I thought, wow, if we lose this customer, we're stuffed. So we started on the road to get more customers. So we do textiles. Textiles for us is maybe 10-15% of what we do. We do a lot of general cargo. Key areas are European road freight, particularly into the Eastern European areas. As we develop the business now, we are targeting air and ocean. EshopWedrop. I could talk a day on this probably. This, for me, is the most exciting part of the business going forward. Terrifically excited about it. I'm directly involved in the development. And we started this a couple of years ago. So we spent $250,000 developing it. We bought a competitor, Perk Anglio, which is Buy UK in Lithuania. And he came to us when we went onto the market and said, you're going to take my business. And so we said, well, why don't we do a deal? So we did a deal. And we now operate EshopWedrop in Lithuania, Estonia, Latvia, and Romania on our own account. And having established the method and how we're operating, we have now franchised it out to Cyprus and Albania. So having established the franchising on small countries, we are now looking to franchise out wherever we can do the rest of the world. The way this works is, if I take Lithuania, I'm Lars, I'm in Vilnius, and I want to buy something off ASOS, Amazon, Sports Direct. I'll go onto the website, I'll see something I like, I'll then click on it, I'll build up my basket, and they say, well, where do you live, Lars? If he says I live in Vilnius, he'll probably get charged £10, £12 for the delivery. If he says I live in a warehouse in Braintree, my name is Lars, and my second name is EshopWedrop number 1234, the delivery will take place within the UK most of the time for free. So we then receive that parcel into our warehouse, where we put it on a cube view machine where we scan it and weigh it by machine. And then the machine prints out the label. We put the label on. Lars then gets a message with a photograph saying your parcel has arrived. We then ship it. We are B2B operators, so we are running trailers UK to Vilnius all the time. So this is B2C activity going on the back of our existing B2B lines. So when you only have 2 parcels, you can still deliver them. When you have a full trailer load, you can still deliver it. The e-commerce retailer is paying to get it delivered to us. Lars is not paying that. We are charging to handle it, photograph it, and send it to him. He then gets the opportunity to either then collect it in country or have it delivered by courier. So our pricing profile is half of anybody else. And we like to think we make good money. We have no aspirations to build up courier companies across the rest of the world. But what we will be doing is approaching courier companies or organisations that have the ability to deliver final mile and collect money. So for them, it is marginal income and marginal cost. We will be charging a nominal franchise fee. We will be making our money on the franchising aspect by making, we think, at least €1 a parcel. So currently for Lithuania, we ship 4,000 or 5,000 parcels. Lithuania, 2.5 million people. So you roll that out to another 20 countries. And those 20 countries, some will be bigger. So you've got places like Romania, 20 million people, Poland, 50 million people, etc., etc. If we were successful and we have 20 lines operating with just 1,000 parcels a week, our revenue will be 20,000 a week or $1 million a year. So we're quite excited about what we can do on that. We have drop boxes in the UK, obviously, Poland, Germany, Italy, France, and the USA. and we're discussing with somebody about a Dropbox in Hong Kong. So this is a great business. So eventually in time, hopefully we have EshopWedrop customers 1 million plus. So simultaneous to that, when we have established a number of countries, we then want to approach the e-commerce retailer and say, by the way, you're delivering into us every day 300-400 parcels. Why don't we collect from you instead of you delivering it in? And they say, well, we don't use you. We use DPD, DHL, UPS. We say, well, they're delivering into us, and that's costing you on the UK delivery. So if you're shipping into us 300 parcels a day, you're paying them 600. I'll tell you what, we'll collect from you, and we'll charge you 200. But while we're collecting for you for our customers, why don't you give us your customers? So they will then help feed us with potential customers for EshopWedrop. So that's the symbiotic relationship between that project. The next step after that will be approaching them and say, why don't we do your warehousing for you? That's a couple of years down the line. Transport services is our affinity business. 1,700 East European hauliers, 12,700 trucks going around using fuel. DKV, our trading partner since 2002, they're Europe's largest independent fuel operator. They've got 157,000 customers, and we are number 2. So we have quite a good relationship with them. And I'm currently talking to them about the big B word. If Brexit happens and there are customs clearance problems, we are discussing with DKV that their database of truckers can use our services. So that could be quite interesting. So a really hard Brexit won't do us any harm at all. The growth areas for this business are the database. We have a database of 1,700 truckers. The average size is 7 trucks. They don't have buying power. So we will have the buying power because we have 12,700 trucks. So we are looking to expand our affinity leasing business and with it affinity insurances. So we are regulated. We have affinity insurance set up. We are missing one thing, which is a hell of a lot of money to write the leases. But we don't want to have those onto our balance sheet. We want to be selling the leases and making a margin. We want to then insist that the person who takes the lease has a reputable insurance company. But that's not a problem for you because we have affinity insurance. So this is all about making margin. No big capex, just make a margin. Logistics warehousing, spoken about Pallets, so I won't do that one again, but that's terrifically good business for us. Logistics and warehousing in the UK is geared around fulfillment and e-commerce. So I'll give an example. We had an American customer over just before Black Friday, the end of November. Big American team, and 3 o'clock, they decided to turn on the fact and let their 198,000 customers in Europe know they had a European base. So they turn it on at 3 o'clock. By 5 o'clock, 300 orders had already come through. And they were servicing their European customer base from America, costing them $30 to ship a product worth $30. So as soon as they let their customers know, hey, we're in Europe, they can then ship from the UK very easily around Europe. That went absolutely ballistic over Black Friday. We were 24/7. It was crazy, and we were still slipping behind. So what we want to do is we want to do more of that activity. And they ran out of product. Air freight was coming in at 58,000 a shot. So we need to get their air freight as well. So the fact that you're doing the fulfillment and the pick and the pack and the dispatching, we also want to get the inbound freight because we can make money on that because we're a freight forwarder. So the UK growth will all be about e-fulfillment and e-commerce. And that links into EshopWedrop. Little slide, some of the customers we have. 10,000, it says 10,000 customers there, but we had an interesting presentation from our manager in Lithuania 2 days ago, where he said, I've got 7,000 customers in Lithuania. I'll tell you a little bit about Lithuania at the end. But our biggest customers are Arcadia and Primark, who may be 2%. So no client concentration. They're the markets we work in. You see predominantly Eastern European as good GDP growth. This is probably an outdated slide because I know Romania is about 6%. So we're where margins are going to be better and where there's growth. What's our strategy? Our strategy is to carry on doing what we've been doing for the last 30 years and growing the business. So we want to grow organically. We have some fantastic organic growth opportunities. So we do more and more of that. But we went to market. Why did we go to market? Because the industry we're in is massively fragmented. There are loads and loads of freight forwarders. We are going to be looking at companies which are bolt-on acquisitions, which we think will strategically fit to us. So as Delamode, our main brand for the last 30 years, European road freight. So we are looking at companies which will give us a presence at Heathrow on air freight. We are looking at companies which will give us a presence at the ports on sea freight. So we want to be able to do air, sea, road. So there are no end of companies which I've had on my inbox to look at. We will never run out of opportunities to build by acquisition if we want to. But we keep to an acquisition formula loosely, which is buying companies on 5 times EBT, debt-free, cash-free, 50% in shares, 50% in cash. And we can vary that according to the type of company we're buying. But that's the basic formula, which should be earnings accretive to shareholders. And if we're buying companies which would be an effective PE of 6, if we get the business trading at 12, it makes you all money. So that's the investment proposition. We're a highly experienced board. We make cash. We make profits. We are not presenting to you something where we talk about cash burn. When we make the money, we like to pay it out. So we will pay out 50% of earnings after tax every year, 1/3 in October, 2/3 in May after the finals. So we keep to that as a policy. It's not cast in stone, but pretty much cast in stone, because I know at least one shareholder that likes to get money. So actually, I'm not even a shareholder. I actually know 5 shareholders who are very interested to get money, and they're all related to me. So we're in the fast-growing areas, attractive organic growth opportunities. They're all enhancing. Commitment to pay out the dividends. Q&A.
Hello. Thanks very much for a very interesting presentation. I have a few questions if there's time. First one is, I understand it's quite difficult to recruit HGV drivers at the moment.
It is, yeah.
What's your experience and how are you coping with that problem?
Well, we don't have HGV drivers. We're asset light. But we've got 1,700 trucking customers who've got 12,700 trucks. So, but they do experience difficulties. Some of them manage that process in different ways. They look after their drivers so they don't lose them. Okay, so you subcontract we subcontract everything. I see. I didn't appreciate that. We're a middleman and we make money. Mm-hmm. Got it. Thank you.
The second question, could you just say a little more? I wasn't quite clear about Pallets and Delamode, your operating businesses.
Well, Delamode is the freight forwarding side. Pallets is a national network in Romania. So in the UK, there are 10 such networks. And what a pallet network does is enables you to distribute small consignments around the country economically. We have the one and only network in Romania. So on the back of that, and the ability to deliver small consignments within 24 hours the whole country, we are now going back heavily into warehousing and logistics. And that should give us a huge commercial advantage.
If it's possible, a quick final one. Do you consider that autonomous vehicles are likely to have any impact on your business within your lifetime?
Probably not. Not that I'm going to die soon. Don't run me over.
Sorry, how are you going to make people aware of this EshopWedrop thing?
EshopWedrop?
Yeah, how are you going to make the individuals in the country aware of it?
Well, we will be franchising in the countries. The people we will be franchising to will be companies that have the ability to deliver nationally. So they will either be national courier companies or post office type people, maybe.
How are you going to make the individuals know about this option?
Well, the franchisee will, when he's doing deliveries for all his other work, will have a brochure that goes around.
You mentioned people buying from Amazon, for example.
Yes.
Well, how are they going to know about this?
About EshopWedrop?
Yeah.
Well, if I take Lithuania, we get 200-300 parcels a day coming in from people who know about EshopWedrop, and they buy from Amazon. But you're absolutely damn right that Amazon do know about EshopWedrop, because I was in Seattle 6 weeks ago. But we will be trying to provide delivery services to e-commerce retailers, and when we do the delivery for them in these overseas countries, we will let them know that EshopWedrop exists. So somebody buying from an Amazon in Lithuania, when we've delivered to them, they'll know that they can buy off Boohoo or Shop Direct or Sports Direct. So we won't have a big advertising spend, if that's where you're getting to.
Stephen, thank you very much.